how do you get close to a 500-pound bench? Basically, is what I want to know.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, man. This
Uh,
is really gonna mess with some people.
Good. Give us something unorthodox, man.
This
Like,
is really
let's
gonna mess
get the
with
real
people.
secrets, man. When you think of a guy that could bench press nearly 500 pounds, you usually think of maybe a 300-pound power lifter, some huge dude, or some bodybuilder roided out to the gills. You don't really think of like a natural guy who's under 200 pounds. Well, Eddie Swanson is one such guy who benched nearly 500 pounds, being all natural, being 198. And we're going to talk about that and also his chest routine. Now, obviously, if you do his chest routine, it doesn't mean you're going to build up to that kind of weight, but it's a pretty unique routine. It'll probably give you some ideas. But just in general, Eddie knows a lot about lifting, knows a lot about health, looks really young for his age. He actually wrote a book called The Real Fountain of Youth, which I'll link in the description below if you want to pick it up from Amazon. I'm sure there's something we can all learn from that. Anyway, if you like this kind of content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed, because I'm going to be talking about martial arts, going to be talking about weightlifting, be talking about great movies of the 80s and 90s and more on this channel, so make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss that. And let's get to that conversation I had with Eddie Swanson now. Now, speaking of like transitioning over to powerlifting, which it sounds like, based on what your friend said, you already had a lot of strength. You had third place in your first powerlifting meet. So, but when you fully transitioned over, did your training change that much? Because I would think you would be like specifically training for strength as opposed to, like aesthetics.
Right. Yeah, it did change a lot because when I was bodybuilding, I did a lot of reps, lighter weight, still, it was still kind of heavy, but to me it was light. And excuse me. But then when I transitioned into powerlifting, I started lifting a lot heavier, less reps, and doing, a lot of pause sets.
A lot of what kind of sets?
Pause,
Oh,
like
pause. Yeah,
pause
okay.
it. I try to pause it about 3 seconds, then lift it, and then I go up to like 6 seconds.
Really?
Yeah. So
Interesting.
that really builds a lot of strength. People don't realize it, but it does. When you pause like that and you're at a dead stop and you pause it for so long, if you can't get it up after that, then maybe you should, lessen the amount of seconds that you're doing the pause. But if you pause a longer time, then in a competition, the pause is about 2 seconds. If you're pausing 6 seconds, then you'll blow up some weight at 2 seconds.
Oh, big time.
You know,
Interesting. Now, is that like, because I definitely wanted to pick your brain as far as, do you think like 6 seconds is about ideal for the pause? Like, would any longer not necessarily be beneficial to build strength or?
because what happens at a certain point, there's such thing as pausing too long. Because if you pause too long, then you can't lift the weight because your body is tense under pressure. You're holding it, and the longer you hold it, the less strength you're going to have pushing up. So I feel like, this is just my personal opinion, I feel like a 6 second pause is good enough.
And how many reps are you doing though? So like when you're training, you do a rep, you're down for like 6 seconds. Obviously you get it up. Is that it for the set? Or are you doing like 3 reps or are you doing like 5 reps, 2 reps?
I'm trying to do anywhere between 3 to 5 reps.
Okay, so time under tension is kind of long if you're pausing for 6 seconds. I mean,
It is.
yeah, that's interesting.
It is. And I've always had a strange way of training. It's different than a lot of other people. And but apparently it works for me because
Yeah, apparently. I mean, you got records, man. You got championships.
I'm like, hey, if it works, don't, how's the saying? If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Speaking of which, would you say this kind of like method of training is, if you had to give like one tip of, for a guy or a girl, if they want to get stronger, would this be your one tip, these like 6 second pause reps, or would it be something else?
No, I would say the 6 second pause reps because they work not only with bench, but it also works with the squat and it works with the deadlift. So because you can watch guys when they're at their max on a deadlift and they'll hold it, and then the judge will go you can put it down, but they'll continue to hold it. That's what I'm talking about right there. Now, in a competition, they do it because they're trying to let people know, hey, this ain't no problem. I got
Yeah,
this.
sure. No, that's pretty
You know,
badass.
right, right. But in a workout, it's really good to do because it definitely increases your strength.
Interesting. So I implement pause reps sometimes. So I'll usually do more like a bodybuilding set, but then like my last rep, I'm kind of gassing out. I'll literally hold on my chest, and then I'll be able to grind that last rep out.
Right.
But when you're doing your pause reps in general, and you're down, like say on the bench, obviously you could kind of rest it on your chest and make it easier. Or are you like coiled like a spring and just flexing it real hard, or are you just kind of more like relaxing on the bottom of the pause?
No, I'm coiled, and
So there's
I'm
a lot of tension there then the whole time.
right, right. Because if you let it sink into your chest, then what happens is it bounces up.
Mm,
When you push it up, you bounce with it.
sure.
And that don't work in a competition, because if you do that, then you're probably going to get at least 2 red lights.
Ah,
You know,
interesting. Wow.
so
Hey, speaking of some numbers real quick, I'm really curious. Like, what's your, I guess you probably have a max in the gym and probably a max in competition, but like, what's your max bench press?
um, let's see. I'm trying to think back what my max was at 160 something, but I can't think. I think it was like 315. I was 160, about 160 pounds. I actually weighed 150 something. I did 315.
Wow, that's about close to double body weight.
Yeah, and at a APA powerlifting meet, I think I sent that to you. I did. I was in the 181 and I did 350.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
did see that. That was from like
yeah,
that powerlifting magazine, right?
yeah, yeah. And at 198, I did my max bench at 198 was 480.
480 at
Yeah,
198.
480 at 198.
That's
Yeah,
crazy, man.
but
That was in competition or in the gym?
that was in the competition, but I didn't win the competition. I actually, this is funny. If I would have benched that, I would have set a record and I would have won. But I end up losing that competition because when it was coming up, and then it started going crooked. And one end started coming up, and then the other end started coming up slowly,
Sure.
and it wasn't coming back down. It was constantly going up, but my spotter grabbed it.
Oh, man.
And I was like, oh my God, man. And that was my last lift. You know,
Wow.
I was like, man, come on.
Wow. So you got the 480, but I guess disqualified technically.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
And the thing about that is, I don't know if it's mental, or whatever, psychological, but I have never been able to bench that again.
Well, how close have you gotten to that?
I think the closest I've gotten to that was like 450.
I get 30 pounds is huge, but 450, man, for being sub 200. Now, do you cut down? Because obviously, like, when people compete, they try to get in the lower weight class. And I don't know, in the powerlifting world, I'm not too familiar. Do you guys like cut down and lose a lot of water? And then like during the day of the event, you technically weigh a lot more than what you weighed in, for the event. Does it work like that, like fighting does?
Yeah, well, like you have the weight classes that I've competed in was the 181, the 198. And now if I was to compete, I would be in the 220 because I weigh 205. So rather than me lose weight, I'll just get in the 220 and give up a few pounds,
Hmm.
Because with powerlifting, the more weight you lose, and especially if you're already at a kind of natural weight, so to speak, and then you try to lose down, your strength levels go down with it. So I would rather, like I said, I'd rather stay at whatever weight I am and just get in whatever weight class that's going to put me in.
Interesting. Yeah. Speaking of the bench press, I definitely know how it is when you lose weight, your strength goes down. Believe it or not, like I'm your height, so I'm 5'9",
Okay.
about 185 right now. Believe it or not, the biggest I got was 245,
Oh, okay.
which is ridiculous. But I was definitely my strongest, but I wasn't hitting your numbers. But just to kind of give the audience perspective, I consider myself kind of strong.
Oh yeah,
But
no,
again, I would have outweighed you by 45 pounds. And my best was a triple with 365, which isn't bad, but I couldn't imagine tacking on 100, losing 50 pounds and tacking on 100 on the bar. Like, that's ridiculous. You know,
no,
that's ridiculous.
I would say you're pretty strong, man. I mean, one thing about me is I give everybody credit when they deserve credit. You know, if they don't deserve credit, I just won't say anything because my mom
Sure.
can't say anything good, don't say nothing at all.
Yeah, no,
You
that's
know,
good.
and I respect, MMA fighters, martial artists, powerlifters, bodybuilders. I respect anybody in any sport that you're doing and you're doing good at it and that's what you love doing. I respect you. So like I hear a lot on your channel about Steven Seagal and people he's full of bull and
Yeah, I get a lot of that on the channel.
yeah, so but you gotta give the man respect. He is a martial artist, and whether you think that he's full of crap or you think that he's really good, however you want to think, that's a matter of personal opinion. But I give the man credit because he's been in the martial arts and he's dedicated his life to the martial arts. So therefore, you got my respect. Michael Jai White, I wish he never said that he could beat my idol Bruce Lee. you know, I kind of got pissed about that, but
Sure,
but the
sure.
thing is, I respect Michael Jai White for the martial artist that he is as well. I give everybody respect as long as they spent time in whatever it is that they're doing and they're really serious about it. And I saw some of your kicks too, man. Your kicks are awesome.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Van Damme inspired me, man. Trying to be like the legend as much as I can.
Your kicks are awesome.
Thanks, man. Like, just out of curiosity, uh, can you give me your sample, like, chest workout, for example? I mean, obviously, you're probably doing flat barbell bench presses, I would assume, but are you doing, like, a lot of dumbbell work? You doing inclines, declines, and flat in the same day? Are you doing a lot of flies? Like, what's like, if you had to say, like, this is the chest workout, and let me know if it's just a push day, if you're doing chest, shoulders, and tris, or if it's strictly chest, like, how do you get close to a 500-pound bench, basically, is what I want to know.
Well, it's crazy because I do a ton of push-ups, right?
Okay.
So what I do is I do decline push-ups, incline push-ups, flat push-ups, diamond push-ups, and then I go to the bench.
Now, real quick, are you doing these push-ups to failure, or are you doing them more of a warm-up, like explosive, just kind of prime the nervous system, or are these like, until you can't do anymore?
No, these are like, because I would do 75 incline push-ups, and then I turn around and do 25 decline push-ups, and then I do 25 regular push-ups, and then I do 25 diamond push-ups, and then after that, I would go to the bench.
Yeah, see, that's
So,
the thing. Like, I've done that before, and by the time I get to the bench, like, my bench, I've lost so much compared to if I, did it fresh. So are you
right.
specifically trying to, like, right when you start the bench, it's going to be way harder than it ordinarily would have been?
Because I want it to be where I can just barely push it, and make me work harder, because by
Okay.
the time you get through with all these push-ups, man, you wore out, your muscles just wore out, you
Yeah, I
know.
know.
But I found out that if you do all of these push-ups ahead of time and then, take a few minutes rest and then go to the bench, you'll get stronger. You'll struggle at first,
Yeah.
but after a while, it'll get easier and easier, and then you're able to put on more weight. You'll find yourself putting on more weight.
Interesting. And again, if you're not getting ready for competition, you're just doing regular tempo. You're not doing your, your pause at the bottom for like 6 seconds, are you? You're just doing
No,
regular, whatever
no, just
bodybuilder
doing
type
regular,
bench preps.
just regular bench. Yeah, just touch the chest and back up.
What rep range?
Um, yeah, I would say between sometimes 8 to 10, sometimes 10 to 12.
Okay,
You
so
know,
very, very like standard bodybuilding-esque. Now, is there like a specific number of sets you do? Is it like 3 to 5, or is it more, or is it just like a
yeah,
couple?
usually 3 to 5. I don't go less than 3, and I don't go more than 5.
Okay.
And it all
Okay.
depends on what I feel like that day. You know.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting. Okay, so you got the push-ups, you're killing the chest, you doing more standard flat barbell bodybuilder type work. What would you go from there? Again, this is like, your ideal chest day or push day. So what after the flat barbell?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, man.
Uh,
This is really gonna mess with some people.
Good. Give us something unorthodox, man.
This
Like,
is really
let's
gonna mess
get the
with
real
some
secrets, man.
I don't do flies. I don't do dumbbell bench. I don't do. The only thing I do is a ton of push-ups and then flat bench. That's it.
But only 3 to 5 sets on the flat bench?
Just 3 to 5 sets. You
There's no
know,
incline bench or decline or
no
dips?
incline, no decline.
Okay,
And
real quick, real quick. Okay, so that's what you're doing for chest. Are you doing shoulders and triceps on the same workout? Because that can't be your whole workout.
yeah, no, I do tries and chest together.
Okay,
You know, 'cause I
what are you
move
doing for
wild.
tries after that? So it just seems like push-ups in the flat barbell. That's it.
That's it. That's it. For my
Okay, okay. I mean, I'm thinking you're doing all this, you flies, you're doing incline, it's like, wow, that's it.
I tell you, man, like I sometimes I can't explain my body, because it's like it really seems like it takes on its own thing, man. It's like, well, you don't have to do all this. You can just do this. You don't have to do that. You can do this. You
That's
know?
funny. I mean, obviously, like I've considered myself as a senior lifter, having lifted consistently for 26 years. I haven't really met many people who've done it longer, but you I guess are what 8 years doing it consistently?
Yeah, somewhere right in there, because I started when I was 13 and I'm 61 now and I haven't stopped yet.
Yeah, yeah, and you never should. I know I heard you in an interview say you're going to stop at 99, but I
Yeah.
say keep doing it, man. Why stop at 99 years old?
Yeah,
But
I'll be 99 in the gym lifting 50-pound dumbbells. Yeah, back in my day, I could do 100 of these.
yeah, that's funny, man. So, what are you doing for tries after that barbell bench press?
Now when I go to tries, I do tricep push downs,
Like on
and
the cables?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I use and what works better for me is a V bar. You
Mm.
know, I like doing a V bar, and I'll do tricep press downs after that, and then
Well,
I
real
do.
quick, what's your rep range and how many sets?
Now I will do about 5 sets of those, and I'll do. Now this is crazy. Again, I do as many reps as I can with a certain weight. Like I may go, say I put 70 on there, and I'll try to do it 25 times, and then I put more weight on there, and I'll try to do it 25 times, and then I put more weight, and then eventually I'm using the whole stack, and then by that time I'm trying to get at least 12.
Okay, okay.
So
Okay, so you just keep increasing the set, increasing the weight, and then you pretty much max out where you basically have to because the gym doesn't go any heavier on that
yeah, so
machine.
I use the whole stack, and then I cut it down to, like, I try to get 12 reps out of there because I was doing 25s before that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so you kind of higher reps in general. Okay, that's
yeah.
cool. So you got the V bar push downs, and then where are you head next?
Then after that, they got this machine that you sit down and you load the weights. It's kind of in front of you. It's a dip machine.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do those. I love those.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
man.
you are doing some variation of dips, but you're doing them more for triceps instead of your chest then.
Yeah, I'm doing it more for triceps because I do go to uh, the dip bar after I do the seated machine dips.
Oh, so you do real body weight dips
Yeah,
afterwards.
yeah, I do that afterwards. Yeah.
How
And
heavy, real quick, are you going on that machine? Are you doing like 12 reps? Or are you going high, like
um,
25 reps? Or
yeah, I put about 345s on each end, and I
okay.
try to knock out about 8 to 10. You
Hmm.
know,
Okay.
and I do about 3 sets because I know that I'm not trying to do a whole bunch of sets on that because I know I'm going to the body
Yeah,
weight.
you got more of a similar move with the body weight. Okay. How many
Yeah.
reps are you doing with your body weight after your tries are fried by that point, out of curiosity?
I try to do 3 sets of 25.
Okay, just knocking them out. Yeah. See, that's why, again, like, you should be doing way more pull-ups. I mean, you're knocking out all those dips with body weight after all that tricep work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
that pull-up thing I'm not buying, man. For more on that pull-up thing, make sure to check out a previous video I did with Eddie titled How Mr. Georgia Curled His Way into the Guinness Book of World Records. Here's a quick excerpt from that video, by the way. So obviously you got crazy pull. Like, how have you ever like maxed out on like the amount of pull-ups you can do in one set, for example?
You know what's funny, Dave, is I suck at pull-ups.
Really?
Yeah, I
I
suck
think
at
I
pull-ups.
got you beat on this then.
Yeah, you definitely got me beat because if you do more than 5, you got me beat.
Are you serious? So you could literally just use your biceps alone, even if you're not engaging your back muscles, man. It's just hard to believe. With like your Superman on all these lifts,
But that's
it's
the
crazy,
pull-up
man.
bar is my kryptonite.
I guess you're not made for rock climbing.
No, I'd probably fall.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. So body weight dips, and then what are you doing?
And then after that, man, I'm done because I do, the push-ups, the bench, and then I do the like, what is that? 4 uh, different tricep exercises. 1, 2, no, 3 different
Well,
tricep exercises.
here's the thing. Here's a question then. Like, what's the frequency? Is that a once a week workout? Is that twice a week? Is that 3 times a week?
I try to do that particular workout twice a week because I want to work my chest at least twice a week, and I want to work my triceps at least twice a week. So since I do tris and chest together, I try to do them at least twice a week. But I try to do them like Monday. I do the bench and triceps and stuff like that, but then I turn around and do it again like Thursday, you know,
Okay.
Thursday or Friday.
Hey guys, that's going to do it for this episode. Make sure to check future episodes with me and Eddie. We're going to talk about more of his training routine, his squat, deadlift, etc. Also, his time he spent in Japan training in Shotokan Karate.